Tal? Buenas, buenas. Continuamos en este playthrough de Horizon Forbidden West. Nos habíamos quedado en esta parte donde llegamos a la base, donde parece que es como la base principal en la que se van a juntar todos los personajes principales de la historia. Tenemos que llevarle... ¿Qué dices? Ok, bueno, continuamos. Tenemos que llevarle el éter a Gaia, una de las partes de Gaia, pues uno de los módulos se lo tenemos que llevar.
Aloy, we've gathered some supplies in that chest. Take what you need.
Pero primero vamos a checar todo lo que hay en la base. Nada mal, muchas gracias.
Holograms. Gaia, I thought you said the data here was lost.
I was able to repurpose the equipment to store the data you have acquired in your travels.
Nice. Nice.
I'm telling you, the old ones put blades on their feet and...
Danced on ice.
That doesn't sound safe.
Does sound fun, though.
Looks like someone's made this space their own.
I see you found Varl and Zoe's room, Aloy. I believe they wanted private accommodations.
I see.
Aquí es donde... ¿Qué decían en el otro episodio? ¿Entrenar o algo así? Aquí entrenan. A ver
Gaia,
por acá.
what's this space for?
This would have been the sleeping quarters for Control Center operatives.
Well, it's getting some use. Looks like Erend and Katala moved their stuff in.
No mames, qué, qué combinación tan única en donde tienes tecnología bien pinche avanzada y después, milenio después tienes pues, tecnología ya otra vez de Edad Media y cosas así, ¿no?
Is your focus acting up again?
That's fine.
I can take a look if you want.
Yeah, usually works if I flick it.
Supongo que aquí se irán abriendo más puertas para más personajes.
Looks like someone's put some of my stuff in here.
Aloy, I see you found your room. Your companions thought you would appreciate a private space of your own.
That was thoughtful of them.
Esto sí me recuerda muchísimo a la Normandía. Es como si te estuviera hablando la inteligencia artificial de la Normandía en Mass Effect. Pues es muy similar. A ver. Ya tenemos todo recargado. ¿Qué es esto?
This is the rite of passage that Vishav gave me at the embassy.
Órales.
I liked him. He seemed like a good man. I
Sí,
think
se
he was
murió
really
muy
looking forward to
estúpidamente.
going home. My old spear. Rust helped me make it
Ese Rust.
when I finished my training. Feels like so long ago now. I've been carrying Elizabeth's pendant with me for months. But since we're gonna stay a while, I think I'll keep it here, where it'll be safe.
Va. No, todavía no.
You know there used to be a rainforest so big the old ones called it the lungs of the planet?
El
That
Amazonas.
sounds lovely.
Yeah. They burned it to the ground at some point.
F.
But they helped bring part of it back in Sobek's time.
That's good to hear. I wonder if it grew back after Zero Dawn. Wherever it is.
I'd like to think so.
Ah, no mames, qué buenas referencias, Sé cómo se sacan de onda, cómo chingados se lo quemaron todo. Pues así somos, carnal.
Looks like this room's changed. Is that your doing, Gaia?
Yes. I have repurposed the displays to track the cauldrons you have acquired data from.
Ah, perro, güey. Este güey ya está bien metido con la tecnología y hace unos días no sabía ni qué onda. Terminal de fabricación. ¿Qué es esto? Un ágil carroñero que puede desplazarse en manadas, destroza los cadáveres de las máquinas para reciclarlos y escanear constantemente la zona en busca de amenazas para defender su botón de los intrusos. Crea este control para desbloquear la habilidad de controlar esta máquina al exterior. Nada mal. Ah, pues aviéntate el único que puedes. Mu, se llama Mu. Chatarrero. Ok. ¿Cómo te va, crack?
Aloy,
It's good to see you. I'm guessing you've got a lot of questions?
I've been told of our enemy and their intentions. Your friends showed me to the vision you keep in this place, Gaia, and gave me this focus. I don't pretend to fully understand everything, but all I really need to know is where to train and when to fight.
Welcome to the team, then.
Nice.
What do you think of our squad?
They seem eager to fight. Though I admit it is strange to see a new Taru in the ranks. Farmers don't make for effective soldiers.
She seemed pretty effective when she took out the machines that were guarding this base.
Interesting. Perhaps I am mistaken.
Now that you know who the enemy is, do you have any questions?
I'll admit I find them hard to grasp. From the heavens. And invulnerable.
For now.
I will leave the strategy to you. I trust you will point my blade where it will cut the deepest.
Bien lo dijiste que son invulnerables ahorita. Y parece que están mucho más avanzados que nosotros porque pueden incluso viajar a velocidades cercanas a la luz. O sea, no mames. Están a otro nivel.
What are you looking at over there?
The others have been helping me decipher the symbols the focus shows me. So, I thought I'd try to understand the weapon you intend to use against the enemy. This Hephaestus, it will be able to make machines? That answer to Gaia?
Yes,
How many?
as many as we need.
Such power. Has the world ever seen the like?
Sí. Nomás que ese power se puso en contra de la humanidad y se murió toda la vida. El clan del cielo y tú.
You said the Bulwark was your home a long time ago. That you were part of the Sky Clan.
Yes.
That's all you're gonna tell me?
Fine. As you wish. My parents were killed in a clan skirmish, so I was raised by my squad. As I grew older, I came to be known as an accomplished fighter. Tekote took a special interest in me. I fought by his side against the Karja, and led my squad on a dangerous climb into the Daunt. It was I who opened the gates at Barren Light, from the east side, allowing the Tenakth to raise it.
That must have gotten you some attention.
Indeed. I was welcomed home as a hero, and I was content.
Then why'd you leave?
I became a marshal.
Why did you leave the Sky Clan to become a marshal?
I was sent to the Kulrut by Tekote. Back then, I would have obeyed his every order. I believed in him, like one would a father. I was too blind to see the fear in his eyes. Fear of a rising young warrior challenging his command of the clan. I returned a hero from the battle at Barren Light. But to him, I was only a threat. Never occurred to him that I had no interest in rising above my station.
F.
Why did Tekote think you wouldn't be a threat to him if he sent you to the Kulrut?
Tekote knew that if I survived the Kulrut, I'd be forced to forsake the clan to serve the Tenakth as a whole. I'd never be allowed to challenge his command, even if I wanted to. After our victory at Barren Light, Tekote spoke to our people, said it would be selfish to rob Hikaru and the marshals of a warrior like myself, even though he knew perfectly well I had no intention of ever leaving. It was exile, guised as an honor. One he knew I couldn't refuse. So I became a marshal, and never looked back.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I am not. Though it pained me at the time, a marshal is what I was destined to be.
Ah, sí se siente el feeling de cómo explica las cosas como si fuera una persona ya casi casi. Y esto es como... Hay miles y miles de líneas habladas así, y todas tienen su expresión facial y todo, pues muy bien hecho. O sea, sí es... Estos de... El estudio que creó este juego sí llegaron a un nivel muy bueno, ¿eh? Realmente sí se siente un poquito next gen eso. Por ejemplo, he estado jugando Assassin's Creed Odyssey y pues no se nota este tipo de detalles para nada. Sí está decente, pero no a este nivel.
When we were at the Bulwark, the guard said something about the wings of the Ten. Hikaru also mentioned it at the Kulrut. Decca, too. What does it mean?
The visions tell us that the Ten flew on great metal machines with wings, and leapt into battle from the sky. For us, to imitate this feat is the ultimate expression of martial prowess, and it is why the challengers leap into the arena during the Kulrut. Many times I imagined it as a child. The feeling of freedom, and the awe it must have inspired.
La neta. Iban en cazas supersónicos, supongo. Pues de hecho sí vimos uno de esos en la entrada de aquella zona de la arena. Se veía un caza destruido, como un caza de estos militares.
What did Chief Hikaru say when you told him he'd be joining me here?
You spilled rebel blood at the Grove, and helped reunite the clans. There was little more to be said. He understood.
Well, I'm honored he lent me his best marshal. At least for a little while.
Indeed.
Pues estuvo interesante tu historia, carnal. Trae unos vidrios.
I should go. Feel free to check in on Hikaru and your people. Door's always open here.
I will. May the Ten walk with you.
Same. Vámonos. Sí, me da mucho... me recuerda muchísimo Mass Effect. Falta que incluso me saquen historias, así que se desbloqueen con ellos, hablando con ellos, pues sería Mass Effect nomás que disfrazado de otro juego.
Hey,
Hey.
Hello.
a nice place.
Well, it's not like I built it or anything.
Right. Well, I can see why you had your doubts about bringing us along. It is a lot to take in. But, don't worry. That's nothing I can't handle.
Right. I guess you know what we're up against by now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When Varl first told me those bastards come from the stars, I thought he'd eaten too many of those medicinal berries. But I've gotten used to seeing impossible things, thanks to you. I just wish they weren't always trying to kill us.
Yeah, you and me both. I see Varl gave you a focus.
Well, it doesn't look as fashionable on me, but by the Forge, the things I've been able to see. Granted, a lot of them are bad, you know, the old world ending and such. I'm still trying to wrap my head around most of it, but I never really understood how you were ever able to find my sister back in the Sundom. And now I do, sort of. It makes me feel like I could be useful, you know?
It takes some time, but yeah.
No me acuerdo de eso de su hermana. Supongo que pasó en el 1.
How are you settling in?
Varl's been helping me get the lay of the land, when he's not getting all tongue-tied. I don't know who makes him more nervous, that Gaia lady or our new Utaru friend.
What about the Vanguard? Aren't you supposed to be back east, ordering them around?
I sent some of them back to Meridian with a message. I doubt Avad will mind me sticking around to help the savior of Meridian.
Indeed.
So, you've met our new Tanakh friend.
He's, quiet. I thought his people were supposed to be bloodthirsty maniacs.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you trust him, so do I.
Es correcto.
So, Talana came by the base?
Yeah, more like rushed through. I was hoping she'd stay for a drink at least. Only Carja I've ever met who's any fun. But it seemed like she had more pressing matters to attend to.
Chalana era una que nos encontramos por ahí, que al final se terminó la misión en donde nos quedamos como a la mitad de una montaña en una cueva o algo así, ¿no? Creo que sí era esa. Y que iba con otra chava por ahí, que la estaba como entrenando.
I better go.
Right. I'll leave you to it.
Oli.
Wow, this place is starting to come alive.
Yeah, and Gaia placed all the data she got from your focus into that archive room. With the focuses you gave us, we'll be able to access it at our own pace. You know, learn and train. And if you need us, we'll be there to fight at your side.
Got it. Thanks, Varl. Looks like I was wrong about the Zeniths. Their ship didn't explode on its way to Sirius like everyone thought.
And we saw how they lied about creating a better future at their launch facility. Guess they lied about what happened to their ship, too. But still, the tribes settling amongst the stars.
I couldn't put a single dent in their shields, Varl.
Mhm.
That one Zenith almost killed me.
That didn't stop you from resurrecting Gaia. Won't stop us from using Hephaestus against them.
Let's hope that's enough.
Pues, ¿qué le vas a hacer a un shield impenetrable? Aparentemente, por lo pronto es impenetrable, entonces le eches lo que le eches, no le pasa nada.
How's, training with Zoe?
You know we really are training. Mostly. Look, she reads glyphs faster than I can already. I'd be a fool to refuse her help.
Of course.
A ver,
You
otra
guys
vez.
reading something over there?
We just finished going through all the logs you collected back in Nora territory, and All Mother Mountain. It's hard to imagine that my ancestors were trapped inside, without the knowledge from Apollo to guide them.
Thanks to Ted Faro.
Yeah,
Así es.
I wonder how it must have felt when they were finally free. The world must have seemed so beautiful.
Not to mention terrifying. They weren't much more than kids.
And they became an entire tribe.
Correcto.
I'm guessing you've spoken with Katalo?
I wanted to pay my respects for those who fell when we were ambushed at the embassy. Told him I'd never seen anyone throw themselves at a machine like he did. He said a warrior shouldn't be praised for fulfilling their duty. For a second I thought I was talking to my mother. Never thought a Tanakh and a Nora war chief could have so much in common.
I'm guessing Talana didn't stay for long?
You got that right. Makes you wonder what this Amadis guy did to grab her attention.
Whatever it was, she didn't tell me.
Must be quite a story.
I guess she'll tell us when she's ready. How's everyone handling their focus?
And we all have our difficult moments. Errant definitely curses the most. But I'm hoping Oseram's stubbornness prevails.
How's everyone doing?
Just taking it all in. No one snapped their bowstrings yet.
Think you can
Va,
hold the
va.
fort while I'm gone?
If Aaron stops listening to the same music over and over again, maybe. We'll be fine.
Cada vez me está gustando más este juego, ¿eh?
Varl looks happy about his training partner.
Learning is best done together.
Have you gone back to Plainsong at all?
I thought about it, but I wouldn't know what to tell them. The chorus already thinks me a thorn in the thicket. If they knew what we did to Fa, even if they understood, there'd be little they could grasp about all this.
Es correcto.
For now, I must leave the tribe behind.
Did Gaia tell you anything about the Zeniths?
She did, though it wasn't exactly easy to believe. To think that there are places among the stars where life can bloom as it does here, it is humbling, to say the least.
Completamente.
And heartbreaking that such life should be bent on destroying ours.
Los humanos somos expertos en querer matar a otros humanos. Bienvenida a la humanidad. Ah, mira, los vecinos, ¿qué es esto?
So, how does a tribe like the Utaru manage to maintain the peace with warriors like the Tenakth?
By holding them off. When our fields bloomed aplenty, the Tenakth looked upon our lands with envy. But Plainsong's dishes provided sanctuary and high ground to keep invaders at bay. In the end, even the Tenakth saw sense in a truce. The Utaru promised to provide the Tenakth with food from our crops every year. In exchange, the Tenakth would relinquish one of their own, a veteran, to train the Utaru in combat. This custom was abandoned a few years after the derangement. But some veterans still remain in the plains.
Okay.
I've been meaning to ask, what's the deal with you and the chorus? You didn't seem to be on the best of terms.
That's what happens when you're the one Utaru who insists on publicly defying them. Twice. When the Karja invaded the Utaru plains, they did more than just attack our villages. They burned our fields, took our people as slaves, and murdered those who were too weak to make the trip back to Meridian.
To be sacrificed in the Sun Ring.
I was helping the healers back then, as waves of refugees swarmed into Plainsong. The chorus was divided in how to face the invaders. Some saw sense in raising arms. Others believed the dishes would keep us safe, as they had many times before. And while they bickered, I buried the seeds of the fallen.
F.
It couldn't have been easy. Seeing your people suffer while the Karja invaded your lands.
I come from a small village near Plainsong. My grandmother used to say there was no seed that wouldn't grow there. I moved to the dishes when I decided to apprentice as a healer. When the Red Raids began, I thought about going back. But the injured kept pouring into Plainsong, day after day. So I kept putting it off. One day, I woke up to hear a Karja raiding party had ransacked my village during the night. I rushed there with the healers to help the survivors, but there weren't any left. The smell of burning flesh haunts me to this day.
I'm sorry, Zoe.
I made it a point to appear before the chorus as soon as we returned, to demand that we take a stand against the invaders. I was denied. So I left to fight on my own.
Chale, y pensar que ahorita está lo de la guerra en Ucrania y lugares así, o bueno, incluso Yemen, todos estos lugares, y están pasando atrocidades así en la vida real. Incluso peores que las del juego, ¿no? Qué triste.
You said you set out to fight the Karja alone?
I did. But it turned out I wasn't the only one. News of my disagreement with the chorus spread through the plains. Before I knew it, I had more than a dozen Utaru warriors ready to follow me into battle. We knew we couldn't take on the Karja armies head-on, but we also knew the lay of the land better than they did. We ambushed smaller raiding parties, sabotaged their supply lines, and hit their encampments at
Como
night.
los vietnamitas
Sounds
con
like you were
los
forced to be reckoned
estadounidenses.
with.
Enough that the Tenakth took notice. When the clans began to push the Karja back east, they let us join their ranks. We chased the enemy all the way to Barren Light.
You said you were at Barrenlight when the Tenakth defeated the Karja?
Tenakth marshals climbed the cliffs of the Daunt under cover of night, then attacked from the other side. Before we knew it, the gates were open, and the full force of the clans burst through. What happened next was not something I like to remember. When all the dust and blood settled, I smelled it again. The stench of burnt flesh. Our enemies defeated. What was left of my squad returned to the Utaru Plains. I went back to Plainsong. But even as the harvest passed, it didn't feel like I'd truly returned at all.
Is that when you became a grave singer?
I thought soothing the suffering of others would somehow appease my own. Then you came along and gave me a choice. I could either sing at people's graves or fight for a chance to keep them alive.
I'm glad you chose the latter.
Con unos cuantos diálogos y te hace meterte mucho en la historia, ¿eh? Y otra vez humanidad, humanos peleándose contra humanos y masacrando a los perdedores. Parece que no aprendemos incluso en los juegos.
What are you up to?
Gaia was kind enough to put together a list of glyphs used by the old ones. She helped me decipher some of the data you've collected and showed me how to use the focus to help the process. It's not easy, but it's been working so far.
That's good to hear. I see you've settled in.
Gaia did say this place was built for us, so we could regain control of our lands with her terraforming system. Nurture them like the land gods do Plainsong's fields. It does strike me as odd that a place of life should have so much metal.
Indeed.
Sounds like you met my friend Talana.
Yes, the Karja Huntress. I haven't seen armor like hers since the Red Raids, but Varl tells me that she too suffered at the hands of the Mad Sun King.
Yeah. She's one of the good ones. Trust me. You've spoken with Kotallo?
A few words. Tenakth don't have much use for us outsiders. You must have made quite the impression for him to offer his fealty.
So you've been talking to Gaia?
Yes. She was kind enough to take me through some of the history of the Old Ones, including their demise and the heroic actions of her creator, Elizabeth Sobek. I was surprised to see she was you.
Mm-hmm.
Past, but reborn? Not that I claim to understand how.
Incluso es una de las explicaciones que tiene la teoría de Fermi de por qué, aun cuando todas las fórmulas matemáticas dan que va a haber vida alrededor del universo en vastas proporciones, ¿cómo es posible que no la encontremos? Y una de las teorías es que desarrollamos tecnología, incluso como de nanorobots y cosas así, en la que se chinga toda la materia biológica porque se alimenta de eso. Y pues desaparece toda la vida. Así en múltiples civilizaciones podría pasar, incluso como en la de este juego. Entonces no está tan descabellado, pues la teoría base, ¿no? Igual hay un montón de otras teorías, pero está interesante que un juego la utilice para su historia.
You've been getting to know Erend, I assume?
Of course. Any friend of Varl's is a friend of mine. In this case, a very loud friend.
Va.
Right. I should probably go.
I shall return to our training then.
¿Cuánto llevamos de grabacioncita? Media hora. Pues parece que ya checamos todo.
When you're ready, please merge ether with me. Afterwards, I must discuss an important matter with you.
A ver, ¿puedo hablar contigo aquí? Parece que no, ¿verdad? ¿Qué es esto? Examinar consola vistas.
Gaia, what is this?
It is a control console for a drone-based imaging system connected to this dome. I will transmit the relevant data to your focus.
Huh. So this Cyclops is a network of drones to monitor the deteriorating biosphere conditions. I guess it was meant to display on the dome, but the drones aren't connected anymore. If I find the drones out in the wilds, I could get the data from them. Use it to reconnect them and restore the display.
Error. Drone offline.
Ay, tengo que ir a cada una de estas partes del mapa. A ver. ¿Es una misión secundaria o es un mandado o cómo? Tarea no. Contrato no. Coleccionables probablemente. ¿Qué es esto? Otra misión. Ah, de caballitos. El equipo de ATA organizó una pista de carreras nueva en la selva. Si acude, Aloy podrá descubrir quién es su jinete misterioso. Ah, no estaría mal. Módulos de drones de observación. También está buena lo de las cajas negras y lo bueno que sí los marca una vez desbloqueas la parte del mapa. Parece que están marcadas. Recupera los módulos de drones de observación. Reconecta los módulos del dron de observación en la base. A ver, ¿y me lo marcas en el mapa? Parece que no. No veo que resalte. Bueno, pues si ahí no los encontramos en el mapa, si lo hacemos. Si no, pues ni como no voy a estar buscando todo el mapa, ¿verdad? Va, a ver, vamos marcando otra vez la misión principal. O sea, esta. Núcleo de Gaia.
So,
Recovered
what did you
ether.
want to discuss?
While you were away, I received an unusual transmission on my dedicated Aletheia frequency.
Aletheia. That's one of the sub-functions you couldn't detect before.
Yes. The transmission occurred so slowly that at first it seemed like an accidental blip of data amongst background static. Once I noticed this irregularity, it took some time to collate the complete message.
Coordinates.
Cuidado.
Where does it lead?
To a mountain to the northwest of this facility. A word of caution, Aloy. It is possible this transmission is genuine. It is also possible it is being broadcast by someone or something else.
You don't think it's actually Aletheia?
I am uncertain.
What's SOS?
It
Auxilio.
is an old world code. A distress signal. A desperate plea for help.
Why would Aletheia send a coded transmission on a frequency only the two of you can communicate on?
I believe it
Para
was
que
done
esté
as a
cifrado.
precaution to avoid detection, or at least to create the appearance of the desire to do so. I am also uncertain why Eleuthia would expect that I would be able to detect and respond to its distress signal at all. As far as it is aware, I no longer function.
Okay, so either Eleuthia is in trouble and sent the message hoping you were out there, or someone else is trying to get us to go to these coordinates, pretending to be Eleuthia.
That is my conclusion as well.
Could the Zeniths be sending the transmission?
According to the data I reviewed on your focus, the Zeniths recovered the other Gaia root kernel in the Hades Proving Lab. It is feasible they used it to gain access to my internal frequencies.
So, maybe they sent it thinking you'd respond and reveal your location.
Possibly. However, the transmission is highly irregular. If they intended to provoke me into revealing myself, I would expect the communication to be more routine.
Right. So maybe it's not them then.
O tal vez son ellos haciéndonos pensar que no son ellos de esa manera. Jeje.
You said the coordinates lead to a mountain to the northwest. What's there?
I have no record of anything of note in that vicinity.
Okay, and what about the other number in the message? 237. Any idea what that means?
I have queried my available databases, but it does not appear to have any significance. Perhaps its meaning can only be understood at the indicated coordinates.
237.
All right, I'll go to the coordinates and check out the source of the transmission.
All by yourself? Ha! No way.
I included Erend and Varl in this briefing via their focuses. I concur that you should not investigate this alone.
What if it's a trap?
Of course it could be a trap. But if it really is Eleuthia, then it's in trouble, and I need to bring it back. Don't worry. I'll be careful and...
We're coming with you.
Fine. Go grab your things.
We'll wait for you at the west exit, in case you need to upgrade your gear.
Y te sales por la otra puerta para que no te sigan. Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. A ver, ¿tienes más info?
Aloy,
That was sneaky of you, patching in Varl and Aaron to our conversation.
I am pleased you accepted their help. Is there something you wish to discuss before you depart?
Una inteligencia artificial así de poderosa, así de desarrollada, sería tan potente y tan desarrollada que para poder comunicarnos con nosotros se tendría que rebajar a un nivel muy bajo. O sea, imagina tener toda la capacidad de procesamiento de servidores, de incontables servidores. Todo ese procesamiento, pues evidentemente si lo tienes así como una función de una función de inteligencia artificial así de desarrollada, pues realmente es muchísimo más superior que un cerebro humano, ¿no? Como estaría curioso, ¿no? Es como uno de nosotros, un humano, tratar de comunicarte con algún esquilín o algo así. O sea, ese sería el tipo de interacción. Nosotros no nos podemos comunicar con el esquilín porque el esquilín es, pues no tiene la capacidad, ¿no? Ni siquiera tiene el concepto de lenguaje. Estaría interesante, ¿no? Nosotros somos el esquilín en este caso y la inteligencia artificial es otro nivel de comprender cosas, de analizar cosas. Cuando dice, me chequé en mi base de datos, realmente pasa, en un instante lo checa, ¿no? Y un humano tienes que checarlo en tu cerebro, así de manera pues intuitiva y a ver si encuentras el recuerdo o no. Entonces, qué temas tan interesantes. Preguntas sobre las funciones subordinadas. A ver.
What can you tell me about Demeter?
Demeter sows, fertilizes, and tends to plant life.
So once I bring it back, all the blight out there will start to get better.
While permanent restoration requires the abilities of Hephaestus, I may be able to improve conditions in the region for a while. However, a word of warning. Like Ether and Poseidon, Demeter's response to my query was highly irregular. Alone and frightened, it may have taken measures to assure its security.
Okay, I'll keep my guard up.
Demeter. Ese es el que ya checamos, ¿no? O checamos el éter. Ya ni me... Creo que es el éter.
You mentioned that the superstorms have subsided. Is that Ether at work?
Yes. Thanks to Ether's capabilities, weather patterns in the local region should mostly stabilize for the time being.
Well, that's a relief. Be nice not to have to fight my way through a storm anymore.
I will continue to stabilize the atmosphere for as long as I can.
So, Poseidon, what do we know about it?
Poseidon controls the organic and chemical composition of water resources. Once it is restored to me, I may be able to improve conditions in the regional watershed. But I must warn you, like the others, Poseidon is lost and frightened. It may have taken measures to protect itself.
I'll be careful.
No le pregunté ya por Ether.
Why did Ether take up residence in an ancient war museum?
As with the other subordinate functions, Ether needed to install itself on a processor with adequate storage and power. The one in the museum appears to have been sufficient, given that the holographic displays were still active.
So Ether was assured it could stay for as long as it needed to.
Correct. Though it is curious that it chose a place surrounded with the ancient ruins of aircraft.
Maybe it also felt at home there.
Las funciones subordinadas que faltan.
The missing subordinate functions. What can you tell me about them?
Artemis rewilded the Earth with a variety of animal species. Eleuthia was responsible for gestating, nurturing, and acculturating a new generation of human beings. Apollo was tasked with preserving, organizing, and disseminating vast archives of human knowledge and cultural achievements. Unfortunately, all archived Apollo data was purged on the 2nd of February, 2066, by order of Ted Faro.
Pharaoh, huh? I really hate that guy.
Understandable. He appears to have been pathologically narcissistic, impulsive, and unstable.
All 3 of the missing functions have already served their purpose, or were prevented from doing so. Do you still need them?
If attainable, yes.
Creo que sí, eso le había
Restoring
preguntado
the
antes.
remaining elements would increase my heuristic processing density. Perhaps you will be able to procure Eleuthia at the SOS coordinates. Artemis and Apollo, however, remain unaccounted for.
¿Qué más? Preguntas sobre los Zenith. A ver. Ya casi llevamos la hora. Tecnología de Far Zenith.
So if the descendants came to Earth on a spaceship, I guess we can assume that their technology is powerful in all sorts of ways, right?
Es correcto.
Yes, as your encounter with them at the Proving Lab amply demonstrates, they appear to make extensive use of robotic servitors. Further, they seem to be equipped with some kind of protective energy field that shields them from harm.
Yeah, no kidding. The one I fought seemed indestructible.
Throughout history, every defensive technology has
Creo que eso
eventually
también se lo
been
pregunté.
defeated by an
Voy a brincar. ¿Qué más? Volver. Acerca del mundo antiguo. Zero Dawn.
So, Project Zero Dawn. The greatest minds in the world. All working to build the terraforming system while the Pharaoh Plague devoured the planet. What was it like?
Personnel worked in rotations, at all hours of the day. Resources and technology were secured from across the world. Within a month of the project's conception, I was launched and
No
began my
mames, en un
education,
mes hacer esto.
Elizabeth encouraged me to spend time with the rest of the Zero Dawn staff. She said it was important to experience many personalities and perspectives to aid in my emotional development.
What were they like?
Scared, hopeful, determined. They were hurtling toward technological achievements on a scale never before attempted. I owe everything to their dedication.
Imagínate tener esa situación en donde si no lo logras, si no lo logras a tiempo, se acaba la humanidad y toda la vida que existe en el planeta y lo tienes que acabar ya porque tienes unos robots asesinos chingándose toda la vida en ese momento. Entonces tienes el tiempo contado.
Gaia? What was Elizabeth like?
Her presence is interwoven with my memories. The moment I came online, she was there. We exchanged greetings, names, then set to our task. It was the first of many conversations. I enjoyed being in her company, listening to her stories. She was my creator, my guide.
Your friend.
Yes. When I reviewed the data on your focus, I was saddened to learn of her fate, though I am glad she made it home. I deeply wish she did not have to be alone.
She was okay with that. She gave all of herself.
No me acuerdo de eso.
The only one who could. Thanks, Gaia.
Descubrimientos del mundo antiguo.
So the Hades Proving Lab, where I found the Gaia kernel. It used to be a Pharaoh research facility?
Yes. Prior to appropriation by Zero Dawn, the facility was used to engineer and test advanced computer viruses. It appears to have been one of many research initiatives by Pharaoh Automated Solutions.
I guess it wasn't enough to build automated killing machines. He wanted viruses to infect them with too. So, a while back, before the battle at Meridian, I went into Banuk territory. I discovered another AI there, one not related to Zero Dawn. Cyan.
No me acuerdo.
It was created to oversee operations for a volcanic stabilization project, and it spent the last 1,000 years in isolation. I'm guessing you didn't know about it?
No. From the data on your focus, it seems that Cyan was cut off from the outside world. An effort by its creators to protect it from the Pharaoh
Como que
plague.
me acuerdo, ¿eh?
Any chance it could help us now?
I have already attempted contact, with no success. Given its previous experience with accepting an outside network request, I imagine it is unwilling to do so again.
Right. Because last time Hephaestus enslaved it. Well, that's too bad. I think the two of you would have had a lot to talk about.
No me acuerdo muy bien, la verdad.
The processor Ether was installed on was part of an ancient war museum. A memorial to something called the Hot Zone Crisis. Do you know anything about it?
My knowledge of historical events was unfortunately lost with the Apollo database. However, climate data indicates a peak in regional temperatures in the 2030s. Such conditions would see extreme, prolonged droughts, an increase in dust storms, and a loss of habitable
Valemos
landmass.
madre, güey.
They wouldn't have built a museum in the middle of a wasteland. So I guess things got better eventually.
Yes. Data suggests that temperatures returned to average levels in the clawback era of the 2040s.
Qué chidas referencias, ¿eh? Es como nos chingamos medio del planeta y como que pues, por pura necesidad lo volvimos a acomodar. En esta época, de los 2020, 2030, 2040.
There was an ancient tank embedded in the bulwark, buried under a bunch of boulders. Any idea how it got there?
During the Pharaoh plague, the US military resumed the use of human combatants, as automated machinery was unreliable. It is possible the vehicle was part of a pre-automated war fleet.
So they fought against the Pharaoh machines in the valley. Until the mountain was blasted apart and buried them. So this facility, the Regional Control Center, it was meant to oversee the terraforming system?
For the local region, yes. Had humans received their education from the Apollo database, they would have then been guided here to assume operation. As that never happened, this place remained
Chales,
vacant.
pinche
Until
faro
Minerva decided to
culero.
settle here.
La cagó aquel güey con matar a todos los que quedaban. Y destruir toda la database del Apolo.
So I guess this room was meant to keep an eye on conditions outside?
Yes. From here, the facility's operators would have been able to observe weather and machine activity in real time.
That would have been quite a sight.
It may still be possible to view some of them, should you find and reconnect the cameras to this room's console.
I'll keep a lookout.
Si me los marcas en el mapa, sí. Compañeros.
How's Katalo doing?
I detect that the loss of his arm still deeply pains him, though he has not voiced his thoughts. I may be able to assist in his recovery, should he be interested.
Really? I'm sure he will be.
Tal vez esta morra, esta inteligencia artificial tiene tecnología como para restaurar extremidades. Estaría perrísimo, ¿no?
How are things around here?
Zoe has been studying the morphology of her land gods in an effort to understand their sickness. Without the abilities of Hephaestus, I am unfortunately unable to correct their programming. However, Zoe and I are hopeful we will find an alternative way to heal them.
Well, keep at it. Varl and Zoe seem to like spending time together.
Indeed. While studying Old World data, Zoe discovered references to a dietary lifestyle known as vegetarianism. She appreciated the similarities with Utaru practices and encouraged Varl to try out this lifestyle.
Nomás que se nutra bien, si no te da anemia.
I believe they have agreed to disagree.
Tengo conocidos en donde pues empezaban a hacerse vegetarianos pero sin ir al nutrólogo y de repente se empezaban a sentir muy mal o incluso a un grado no tan mortal, pero como que si le seguías te ibas a morir. Porque no sabían alimentar, no iban con nutrólogos, entonces tenías desnutrición pesadísima en muchos campos pues, que necesita el cuerpo. Y al final pues regresan a una dieta pues carnívora, ¿no? El chiste es hacerlo bien con un nutrólogo para que no te pase eso.
How's Erend handling things?
He is becoming increasingly accustomed to use of the focus. After an initial incident,
What did he do?
he unfortunately crushed his first focus as he attempted to affix it to his temple. Amongst a number of Oseram curses, I believe he also blamed the focus for being dainty. He has given repeated assurances that it will not happen again.
Well, good thing we have a lot of extras, I guess.
Pinche vato. Muy bien, creo que ya acabamos, ¿no? En efecto.
See you later, Gaia.
Until next time, Aloy.
Qué interesante, ¿eh? Me parece buenísima la historia de este juego, la historia como de los antiguos, o sea, nosotros en la actualidad, cómo la cagamos brutalmente y cómo podría llegar a pasar esto. Está interesante, está muy interesante. A ver. Habla con Bar. Chance incluso podemos marcar una de las misiones secundarias, ¿no? ¿Cuál era? De la carrerita. Ah, No la puedo hacer ahora. Chale. No, pues parece que tengo que hacer la misión principal a fuerzas, ¿no? Todo lo demás está bloqueado. Definitivamente, quién sabe qué pasó. Estoy obligado. Muy bien. ¿Cuánto llevamos? 55, ya casi la hora. Muy bien, pues lo vamos a ir dejando por aquí. Muy interesante este episodio. No hubo nada de acción, así como pues pelea o flechazos y cosas así, pero estuvo muy, muy, muy interesante todas las pláticas. O sea, es como te ponen en la historia estas expresiones faciales, todo está muy bien hecho, ¿eh? Y luego cómo te mandan a la historia de los antiguos, cómo te hablan de la otra parte de la humanidad que se fue allá al espacio. Me parece una historia muy, muy interesante. De hecho, este último capítulo yo creo que es lo que más me ha gustado de todo el juego. O sea, realmente me dan ganas de seguir jugando, pero no hay tiempo ahorita. Voy a seguir a ver si mañana.
Good to know. I'll check it out when I can.
Gonna be a trek to get to the location with Guy and
Dijo que desbloquear otra.
That'll be nice to stretch my legs.
Creo que esa, ¿no?
Jump in here.
Muy bien. Pues lo vamos a ir dejando por aquí. En la siguiente vamos a continuar con la misión de la cuna de los ecos, ya que parece que es la única cosa que puedo hacer. Pero bueno, mientras tanto pues me despido. Placer y adiósito.